And we're back. Evil Geniuses taking on eHug here in our first series of the day. We're going to have 2 plus a really fun third match. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, back into breaking down the matchup in front of us. EG pretty much undoubtedly comes in the favorites, not just of this matchup, but of the tournament as a whole. eHug, the new kids on the block, a lot of talent on that squad, a little bit of experience spread out. But this is a match featuring 2 teams that are together for the first time on LAN with their current 5. Now, obviously, you have a ton of experience yourself, Fog. Talk to me a little bit while we wait on the early picks and bans to come out, what that process is like. Not just adjusting to a new team playing online, but adjusting to a new team in this sort of a setting.
Well, I mean, if these guys have been playing together, like I know a couple of these eHug guys have moved into their house already and they've been playing, you know, in basically kind of like a LAN setting kind of type of thing. So I think they're going to come in very comfortable. I don't think they're going to have too much trouble adjusting. I mean, maybe like one or two mess ups like here and there, but overall, I think eHug are going to have a really good shot. Like, you know, having this like not really affect them that much on this LAN scenario. And EG overall, I mean, Zion PPD not so much knowing, I mean, not being on this LAN scenario for Dota, but they have been on LAN scenarios for Han. They were at DreamHack, I think, 1 or 2 times. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to just seeing some solid play out of both teams. They should, I mean, EG is going to come out very confident. I mean, you could hear from PPD when he was doing the interview, he sounded very, very confident in them. So, I think it's going to be some great games coming out of us.
Early bans, we see the Ember Spirit banned out. The Invoker not going to join us either. Nyx Assassin banned out by Team eHug and still waiting on their second ban to come out. Now, we talked about it leading into this match. Evil Geniuses, so much of their success, at least based on what we've seen of them so far with this core 5, does rotate around Arteezy. Again, a playmaker type. You know, it's the most common comparison to make, but a Dindy type, a guy who can just take a game over with the way that he can control a map and the way that he can just swing a fight through nothing but individual effort, which is not the short change of the rest of EG, but he is just one of those true emergent superstars that we see. So whenever we look ahead to, you know, what they're going to try to draft for him, his tendencies, you know, what do you think EG is going to want to be trying to pick up for him early on to set the tone here in Game 1?
They might, I mean, honestly, they might save up his hero, not picking right off the bat just so they can hide it, not let eHug get like counter picks up against him. So I think that they're going to actually hide Arteezy's hero. But we actually see this Naga banned out from eHug. So I know people don't want to deal with that because we've been seeing this Naga mid-solo and it just becomes a farm fest. It's a devastating farm fest, and then it turns into this Naga and being able to push 3 lanes at a time and farm the jungle and everything. So, I mean, Arteezy's hero I'm pretty sure is going to be coming out later, but we do see the Visage picked up by Evil Geniuses right away, which is very common out of them.
Oh yeah, this is just one of those mainstay heroes, even though he has been nerfed a little bit here and there in the last patch or so. And the Ancient Apparition now, and just to divert away from the Visage pick, I mean, you know what you get from Visage. You get very strong lane presence, you get excellent early to mid-game nuke damage through Soul Assumption, and of course you get the familiars, so on and so forth. Ancient Apparition, you and I talking just since we got together here in Austin, you've said on multiple occasions you believe this hero might be the most imbalanced or the strongest, if you want to use a little less incendiary language, the strongest in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean the E buff that he has, this the Chilling Touch. So yeah, it makes it basically if you have 2 heroes with you and 2 of these people get hit by this buff, it's basically as if you have 4 people wailing on somebody. Yeah. You might slow your attack speed a little bit, but the amount of damage and just the burst that comes out of it is unbelievable. And then not even just that, once he hits his 6, if he gets it early enough, he can just devastate pushes on his own. Teams pushing, they don't see this AA all coming, and they get initiated on with that debuff on them as well as everything. It's a disaster.
Oh yeah, and it's certainly, I mean, the debuff, as you said, I mean, it's an effective HP removal while it's active, and on top of that, it prevents any healing. So there's no way to reset the fight, even if you have a Chen or anything like that. Just completely negates it. EG, on the other hand, going with a couple of EG blue heroes with the Weaver and the Visage, still very wide open for them. Weaver, a hero that can basically be played just about anywhere he wants. 1, 3, or even 2. Sometimes you see the mid Weaver, and that can be very effective in and of its own right. While eHug's still also pretty open-ended. Clockwork generally wants a solo lane. Never really see a lot of success out of the pure support clock, just a lot to overcome in that. But paired up with the Ancient Apparition, both teams wide open to aggression, or they're trying to play defensive and just farm their way to a stable mid-game if they want.
Yeah, and I just want to correct you with one thing. The Ancient Apparition Ultimate, actually, the DOT that it puts on afterwards is actually magic damage. Yeah. So, I mean, if you pop your BKB or anything, the effect still stays on you, so you still can shatter, but you don't take the DOT damage from it. Yeah.
So, still waiting on our second ban phase to move through. We can see EG takes out the Storm Spirit, so getting rid of a number of mid heroes and even the Death Prophet, just trying to make sure that they have a favorable matchup there. Yeah. While eHug just kind of banning, like you said, they take out the Naga, they take out another very strong, well-rounded hero in the Timbersaw as well. So it looks like they're just trying to make their way through this ban with a lot of options available without giving away heroes they perceive to be just really strong.
Yeah, and EG's bans, I mean, the Storm Spirit, right away you can tell they're two heroes, first two picks, the Visage Weaver, they have no lockdown. They don't really want to have to deal with the Storm Spirit going all over the place and snowballing out of control, potentially. And then, of course, the Death Prophet ban. It's one of Rio Boris' more signature heroes that we've been seeing coming out. And now, yeah, of course, we see this OD ban coming out of eHug, because RTZ, we saw what happened in Columbus. He just went completely bonkers with that hero, and it was just quite a show. But the hero has been hit with a little bit of nerfs and everything, but he's still extremely powerful hero and just annoying to deal with. Anyone who lanes against him is just gets really crippled.
Yeah, moving into our third pick now, this is where things will really begin to take shape. But, yeah, talking about Team eHug, I mean, they're a team that, you know, you as a player see them a lot more often than most casters do, unless they just show up in one of your tournaments. I mean, based on what you know of their tendencies from a player's perspective, what direction do you think they're going to end up going here?
It's a little bit hard to tell. I haven't really seen them do this. I haven't really seen them use AA that often. They love their clockwork, but they're probably going to do, like, this passive. I don't think they'll go aggressive, but I don't think so at least. They'll do this passive thing. They'll pick up a hero that Jiggle really likes, his Slaughter. Okay, there's the Potom. I'm wrong with that one, but that could also be the mid Potom. Yep. It's always potential.
And EG actually takes away the Bane pick. And, you know, that's interesting for a number of reasons. I mean, EG, obviously, Bane is an excellent hero to deal with highly mobile heroes like a Mirana, etc. But just taking that away as a synergy hero, you know, the Nightmare, the way that sets up for Sacred Arrow, so very strong in lane, so hard to really get a grasp on. And you can think about the aggression that Team eHug could put on with a tri-lane if they decided to run an AA, a Bane, and a Mirana, just in the name of aggression with the Chilling Touch, as you had said, and even Cold Feet proccing off of Sacred Arrow, proccing off of Nightmare, etc.
Yeah, and this isn't just like them stealing this Bane from Team eHug, though. It's a great hero that just really makes up for what Evil Geniuses was missing with their first two picks. They don't really have any Disable or Lockdown, and this Bane pickup also gives them this ganking potential with the Fiend's Grip as well. So I think that was a really, really great pickup by them.
And waiting to see how Team eHug's going to respond. But I really like how ambiguous both lineups are at the moment. I mean, again, Weaver just one of those heroes who can do whatever he wants. You can really put some aggression on with a Visage and a Bane if you want to. Also, both great roaming around the map and trying to put pressure on other lanes, so far as smoke ganking and everything else. eHug with the clockwork, though, that'll certainly be their initiation. And now we're going to have the Rubik pickup. So that could be the Min Mirana, as you had mentioned. In fact, looks like that will be the case.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of liking eHug's heroes a little bit more right now just because they have like very, very gank-heavy heroes. They have this Potom ulti, they have the Arrow as well, they have the Clockwork Hook to set up, and then they have the AA ulti and everything. And of course, you know, throw in Rubik as well. Lift, nuke, all that great stuff. Pick up a double nuke, you can get a Fiend's Grip even very easily from Bane. Yeah. So that was a great pickup in my opinion from them.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say as well. The Rubik pickup in particular, you look at just how many spells he has to steal that are so high value. You can steal Shikuchi. Fiend's Grip might be the easiest to steal ultimate in the entire game because it's just not going to be used on a Rubik in pretty much any situation. And getting Visage's birds as well, something if you time it well. So many options so far as what he can do. And now he even has a chance to take Lasso. He's able to snag that. Great way to turn a fight around. Evil Geniuses getting the single target lockdown, though, with Bad Rider, as you said before, continuing to shore up that lack of crowd control and, you know, just waiting to see how they finish their lineup out. When I look at this EG squad, it's going to be of immense importance that that eHug really not take their foot off the gas at all early. I like their lineup. I like what they're going to be able to do with it, especially using Moonlight Shadow to move across the map and try to break the map down early on. But EG, with the Bad Rider, notorious for how quickly he can farm a jungle, and then the Weaver, who's just such a tough late-game single-target hero to deal with. Yeah, I think eHug's going to be under the gun a bit to make sure they execute in the first 15.
Yeah. And I actually was expecting this Bad Rider to be coming up a bit sooner in these picks because we've been seeing his popularity grow a lot recently. Yeah. He's just such a good hero, and he just puts so much pressure on the map. You see this hero, it's like 8 or 9 minutes, and you have to just watch out because he's going to have his blink very, very soon. And if you're out of position, you just get caught out and killed right away.
And the last ban's out. We can see Doom taking out a hero I know you despise. So EG taking a cue from that, and certainly very difficult to deal with, especially for a Bat. Bat or Weaver really shut down hard by a Doom, so easy to understand why they wouldn't want to see that make it into the pool, and Morphling taken out by eHug. So our final picks on the way. eHug's burned through a lot of their time, so it should only be seconds before we see what they're going to show us. One would imagine, though, I mean, it could be a one-position Mirana, so you could be looking at a mid, but probably going to be some kind of a carry coming out.
Yeah. And this Doom ban was a great ban by EG. I mean, no one really wants to deal with the Doom versus a Weaver. It's always just obnoxious, because even if you pick up your Lincolns, he has level death to break it, plus all these other spells and abilities that they have on their team, like the Rubik with 3 ways to break out Lincolns and everything. And they actually go with the DK, so it is a farming bottom, and it's a DK mid.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not the biggest fan of the one-position Mirana. I feel like she takes so much time to really get into gear. She doesn't tend to move as much because she does have to take time to just farm her lanes out. Tinker, going to be the last pickup for EG, and yeah, I think that's going to make some fans very happy. It's going to be Fear farming up the Weaver, or Teasy, most likely going to be on the Tink. And yeah, Zai going to be playing the Visage. So this early mid matchup, Tinker versus Dragon Knight, what do you think?
I mean, no matter what, Dragon Knight can always get farmed in his lanes. He has this Breathe Fire. He can go to he can always just Bottle Crow and just get a couple Breathe Fires, get a couple CS. But Tinker is really a melee destroyer. So he's going to pull pretty far ahead, and we're probably going to see some rotation coming out of eHug just to get a kill on him early, just so he doesn't snowball out of control.
Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of jumps out about Evil Geniuses. I mean, when you talk about how well-rounded they are, the pickups of Bane and Bad Rider, again, helping them with lockdown, so on and so forth. But they do have a team that, if they get behind in levels, get behind in farm, can start to feel really, really thin. Whereas with eHug, I mean, Mirana just innately able to get out of fights. Dragon Knight tanks up by virtue of nothing but Dragon Blood and the way that the hero functions. So I feel like even though eHug's going to be under the gun a little bit to execute early on, they actually have a little bit more room to breathe so far as if they lose a fight or two or just have a couple of things go wrong. EG, if they end up dropping too many fights and allow, especially again, that Tinker and the Weaver to get a little too far behind, it's going to be very difficult for them to play their way back to even.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually see eHug doing an aggressive tri-lane, which I think is definitely the smarter choice, because like you were saying before, the farming bottom isn't really the greatest in my opinion. I mean, if you just start getting involved in kills really early, that's the beauty of the hero.
Yep.
That's really how you want to use it, because Sacred Arrow is just immensely powerful. Plus with this AA buff, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm really excited to see all this action up in this top lane.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you, especially coming in. There has to be a feeling of playing with house money. I mean, you know that you're you're the big underdog. You know the other team's going to come in with a certain amount of confidence just because of what they've proven in the past. But at the same time, this is the way you take advantage of that. Just put the pedal to the metal. Just run aggressive and see what happens. You have to be quick to rotate if things aren't going your way. But I like the decision quite a bit as well, and we can see already they're moving into the jungle now. And yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to commit too much. The rest of EG just kind of playing back, at least for the moment. So we'll keep an eye on things here. There's going to be a blind arrow shot, and not going to spot anyone near the camp. This will allow them to come up and get wards down, I would imagine.
The battle begins.
Yep. Yeah, there we go. Going to go ahead and ward that camp.
But right now, honestly, I have to give the lane advantage to EG. Because, I mean, Clockwork does well in his short lane, but versus a Bat Rider, it's kind of tough. Yeah, you can get a couple cogs, get the mana burns off, but if you get too many stickies on you, you have to be super careful, because you can just get dove and you're not really going to be able to do anything about it.
Up at top, we can see they're still hanging around this pool camp and trying to catch a straggler. Pendago leading the way. He's actually going to get eyes on Bane, and Bane going to be lifted. Arrows there to follow it up, and the chilling touch as well. EG in a little bit of trouble already, and yep, that's going to be first blood. Going to eHug to lead off this tournament. Could not ask for a better start.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need in this aggressive tri-lane. That's really what you want, because now it puts a lot of pressure on Fear, especially because the lane isn't really in the most optimal place for him to farm. But now they should actually know that ward is down, blocking that full camp.
Yep.
So.
And we can see things beginning to take shape already. Let's talk briefly, as much as we can, because I'm sure that top lane is going to be full of action, about Tinker versus Ouroboros here in mid. Like you said, Dragon Knight will be able to find his own farm, but the way RTZ builds here, we can actually see he's got one in the laser, one in the rockets already. This is just one of those situations where Ouroboros has to be so careful. If he ends up giving up a death or two here in mid, be it solo kills or be it rotational kills, could be a big problem. But that's also something eHug running the aggressive tri-lane does to help him. Whenever you have an aggressive tri-lane in your face like this, it's really hard to rotate your safe lane supports to try to put pressure on mid.
Seeing a little bit of action bottom right now. Cakes and Universe duking it out.
Yeah, it looks like Universe doing a little damage. Like you said, Cakes got down the cogs, but both make it away quite safely. And
yeah, but they both burned a lot of their mana right away. Like, Universe has barely any mana for any stickies left. Cakes only has 1 cog left, so that was a bit of an interesting interaction there.
See PPD pre-runing just a little bit. There's actually going to be a ward that goes down behind the tower at bottom. PPD keeping an eye on things here, and will snag an invis. We'll see what he wants to do with that. Is he going to head back to top? Looks like he will. And they'll try to get some usage out of this. He's only level 1 right now and actually has his first point in the brain sap, so they're not going to have Nightmare to call upon.
Yeah, I guess he was trying to survive that gank, just get a brain sap off and maybe turn it around, but didn't end up happening. The chilling touch damage plus the arrow, of course.
And we can see the lane control right now is excellent for eHug. They have basically been, yes, they're standing right on top of each other as 3, so the experience game not the best, but in terms of farm, Jigglebilly is should be in a little bit better shape than he is, actually. Sitting at 5 CS right now, and it's actually Fear on the Weaver, who's up near the top now, sitting at 9. So even though they led off with that 1 kill, their capitalization after that, there's going to be a miss on the telekinesis and the arrow combination. Here comes Fear doing what damage he can. I'm a sheep, left behind and picked off as the Soul Assumption brings him down and knots our score at 1-1.
Yeah, and that's a bit unfortunate for them. I don't think Jigglebilly should really have that little CS. I mean, last hitting with bottom is pretty tough, but... Oh, and Real Boris is getting nuked down very low in mid lane by this laser rocket combo. And RTZ actually just started you know what, I'm just going to take full lane dominance. I'm not going to get the March to this point. I'm going to wait for a bit.
Yep.
Go for this ganking Tinker, hopefully, we see.
And things are still kind of just staying quiet. We can see 7 CS for Rioboros. He has gotten something done, but Arteezy doubling him up. And like you said, taking a look at his builds, he is going for a pure gank build. So that fits with what we know he likes to do. In the meantime, at top, Pantego picked off with another Soul Assumption. And EG making use of that, all that mobility that a Weaver brings to you, all that damage output you can get from nothing but Shikuchi. And this is not where you want to be if you're eHug. Again, EG has a team that can snowball out of control. The idea is to hold them down as much as you can in the laning phase. And as they continue to build here, this tri-lane from eHug is going to feel weaker and weaker.
Yeah, and that kill actually was just Fear and the Visage.
Yep.
Bane was pulling that entire time, so they got full experience from that. So that's a pretty devastating hit on eHug. Even though they had that great start with that first blood, it's looking like we're probably going to see some rotations and breaking the tri-lane. And yeah, we see Pantego rotating right now.
Yep, and that's the right call. And, you know, Jigglebilly at this point, he's just level 2, not even level 3 quite yet. And his CS, as we said, is actually a little bit lower than you would have expected. I mean, in the meantime, down near the Roche pit, we see Cakes with a double damage. Has cogged himself in, Universe right on top of him, going to pop the battery assault to try and buy himself some time and do some damage. There's the wand charges used. Now Universe is in trouble. That double damage, and Pantego there to help clean him up. So Universe hanging around a little too long, underestimating the amount of damage a Clockwork can have at that level, and we're back to even, 2-2.
Yeah, great rotation from Pantego, breaking the tri-lane. It was just an excellent move, and I don't think that Clockwork actually would have gotten the kill there without him, because he was slowed up by all those sticky stacks, so it would have been close.
Arteezy, so far relatively quiet in mid, has been harassing the hell out of this Dragon Knight, still leading the way in CS. He's got 22 notch coming up on 5 minutes. We have seen the laning phase break down, now a 2-1-2 approach from eHug. And Jigglebilly's got to get in gear, and this is the problem I had with their draft to begin with. He might get caught. No, nope, thought PPD would throw out the Nightmare and maybe try to follow it. Not the case. But, yeah, whenever you have a Mirana who's in a farming position, she gets behind. I mean, she takes a long time to really get into gear and be useful in that role to begin with. And whenever you're falling behind, even when things went your way early, makes it even more difficult to get things where you want to be, especially in the face of Fear, who's farming pretty well.
Yeah, and I said Cakes was going to have some trouble in this offlane, but he's doing spectacular. He's sitting second on the CS board. He's got his boots bottle. He's got his level 6 up, so maybe we'll be seeing a rotation quick coming out of him. Maybe he'll pick up a TP, push the lane in, get that TP from the side shop, and then make a rotation. And yeah, Universe completely ditched the lane. He went straight to jungle.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's one of those things, especially once you get a couple levels under your belt. He's almost level 6 to begin with, but, you know, if you can just get a quick level 2, level 3, you can really farm that jungle so quickly as a bad rider. And, yeah, everything kind of staying quiet for the most part so far. We can see EG is in a bit of a defensive position as they have all 5 north of the middle lane right now, just sticking together and trying to make it into the mid game.
Yeah, the only problem I see right now for eHug is that the Podum's not really getting the best farm that he should be getting. He did get the first blood, thankfully, but he's not, yeah, he's only sitting on, what, 15 CS, and Fear's sitting on 24. So Fear's doing spectacular right now. He's got his Ring of Health built up, he's got his Basilius, and he's saving his gold. So we're probably going to see Lincoln's Rush coming out of him.
Now, looking ahead to the mid-game, I mean, when you look at where things stand right now, as you said, Cakes is in great position, and the clockwork that's well played and has a good start can absolutely swing a game around. But, you know, on the side of EG, when do you expect to see Arteezy start to move out of this mid lane? As soon as he picks up his bots, or do you think he might even begin to move a little bit earlier?
I think it's definitely going to be once he gets his bots. I mean, he's already 900 gold away from it. He's not very far. It's only 6 minutes 40 seconds in the game, so that's huge. And he's actually picking up, he's only got 2 laser, 2 rocket, and 3 in March, so now he's going for more for the farm build.
Taking a look at 7 minutes in at our gold graph, we can see just about a 500 gold lead right now for EG, and that's basically pure efficiency. Same on the side of the experiences. No towers are down, and we're all knotted up in kills. It was actually eHug that got the first blood bonus, though. So as the status quo sits right now, EG is coming out ahead just in terms of what they're getting purely out of their lanes. We can see Pandago, in the meantime, is making his way back up to top lane. He's level 4. And they might try to make something happen here. Fear's been kind of sitting out on his own for quite some time. I don't know if they have. Yep, they're going to teleport one more in and try to bait something out. I'm a Sheep does have a sentry, so if they want to take a run at Fear, they can. And let's see, as they are looping around, Pandago with Cakes. Cakes and Pandago moving now over towards the pool camp. They're going to spot PPD. Cakes is level 7, has a hook. We'll throw out the rocket flare. Hook is being held onto. There we go. Going to connect on it. Deep in the dire jungle, has help on the way. PPD's going to nightmare after the brain sap, but telekinesis there to lock him down. And they actually took the long road around. And it looks like PPD might have a chance here. Battery assault so strong, but just able to make it back behind his own tier 2. In the meantime, behind the fight, Fear has spotted out the rest of eHug, but they're going to go ahead and cut their losses. Very close there, but a missed opportunity for eHug.
Yeah, I think Pandago actually should have just lifted and just woken up the clockwork right away so he get his battery assault off instantly, because that ability just keeps someone locked down in position a lot longer. And even though they both have the same movement speed, Bane just pulled a little bit ahead of him and the clockwork wasn't able to capitalize on the kill.
Taking a look at Universe here in the jungle. He's getting very, very close to a Blink Dagger. Has brown boots in a bottle right now. However, Zai has hit level 6, has his familiars out. They're getting to pressure that bottom tower a little bit. Jiggle Billy's still just level 4. So he's beginning to fall behind. And look at the CS. He's at 17 CS right now. And what's becoming apparent is eHug might just have to play a one-position clock, as he is one of the best farm on the entire side behind the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, Real Boris is doing great middle right now, though. He's got 37 CS on him. He's got his boots, he's got a bracer, he's got his bottle, and I think he's got a, what is that, a Belt of Giant Strength coming out right now. But something else I wanted to point out that EG did that was really smart. They moved Universe to the jungle. They saw Clockwork was bottom, but then right when he left, Zai started stepping up and pulling full experience. So he got his level 6 pretty early, and he's getting some farm on himself. He almost has his medallion up.
Jiggle Billy out there by himself, has help on the way. We see a very aggressive posture of the Universe. Again, is level 6 and is going to go for the kill. Has Lasso ready to go. TPs are coming. He is diving hard. Cakes is there to follow up with the hook, though. And now Riaboros teleporting in. Don't know if they'll be able to catch Zai, but still able to bring down the bat in his first attempt. And really, that was just a little over-aggressive from EG, committing a hell of a lot to that tier 1 and losing the bat.
Yeah, great TP reaction. Cakes was in the perfect position to set up that hook, and just the arrow right afterwards landed right on Universe and just completely destroyed him. And yeah, they're going to put some pressure on this bottom tower with the DK form. And Weaver actually decided to go for the Midas, so he took the smart route because he saw that this tri-lane was breaking. He's just like, you know what, I'm going to be able to free farm up here.
Yep.
And Boots of Travel finished up on Tinker now at 9 minutes 45 about.
Not bad at all. And we see eHug is going to go ahead and pull back now, reset just a little bit. Taking a look at the overall levels, we can see Cakes and Riaboros are actually atop the board along with Universe and Arteezy. Universe is in pretty good position, kind of an unnecessary death down there at bottom, but now a little further from his Blink Dagger. Still should have it up in just about 500 gold, and I think that's when we're going to begin to see EG really begin to put the screws to eHug. They'll have that, they'll have Arteezy with his fresh bots, and they're going to have a lot of burst potential and a fair amount of lockdown as well.
Yeah, the thing that's really just unfortunate to them is that their supports are pretty underleveled. They have 2 level 4 supports and a level 5 carry Mirana.
Yep.
So it's a little bit devastating for them, but I think if Cakes gets some big plays coming out with his hooks, he's got a lot of farm up on him. He's got his treads, he's got a bottle, got a 600 gold on him. They could do pretty well. And Riobora's got a DD rune. He just put some pressure up on this mid tower, and they have some pressure up on the bottom tower right now. So things not going so bad for eHug, but they are getting a bit out farmed at the moment.
Taking a look at how much the Mirana has struggled. Is this a situation where you think maybe, we're going to hear a hook that actually did connect, and that's going to be onto PPD. PPD has been in Cakes' sights this entire game, still eating damage from the battery assault. Cakes will come out of the nightmare. Here's Universe to try and come help, though. Universe stands that blink, won't be able to get on top of Cakes and use that lasso. Instead, just chasing him back. But in the meantime, just to the south, we see Rioboros there with Arteezy. There's a flame break. Will knock them closer to their own side of the river, and they will be able to make it back to safety at least for the moment. So eHug maintains the kill lead. What I was going to say, though, the Mirana, again, the carry position, Mirana struggling so much. Talking about item decisions now for Rioboros. Is this a game where we see something like a Shadow Blade, just because you're going to need that extra little bit of damage if you're going to survive through the mid game?
It definitely is a possibility. I mean, we're going to see how the game starts breaking out in a couple minutes, seeing if he decides to opt just go for the Ogre Axe and then maybe save up and go for the Lothars after that or something like that. But I'm also going to point out another thing that
Radiant's top
it's
tower
really
is
interesting.
under
A lot of teams,
attack.
I know Liquid's a big fan of this. They pick this Visage and they have the birds, and then they have bots on the Tinker, of course. And he goes and he just takes farm all over the place.
Pandego almost dropping a top, Cakes TPing in though. And a little bit of help from the Mirana ulti just in case, so they avoid another death there. But yeah, and that's something that we've actually seen Team Liquid do a lot with Tinker, Visage, and Beastmaster, believe it or not. You can TP to his Hawk as well, and you can really form a very, very lethal gank squad doing that. A little bit gimmicky, but if the enemy team's not prepared for it, you can really get yourself a lead. Rioboros has another double damage rune, and he's going to have a chance to catch Universe perhaps. Universe, nope, he's going to go ahead and make his way over the cliff and back down into the river. So
Do what Batrider does.
exactly. Get away from everything.
Yeah. But also, I mean, I think that we're actually going to be seeing these birds used a little bit differently. I think we're going to, well, like
Dire's
Liquid uses them.
middle
They're going
tower
to
is
put some
under
birds
attack.
inside the enemy jungle, and Arteezy's going to just take their entire
structures
jungle and
are
farm,
fortified.
besides when he's helping defend towers. PPD
PPD
getting engaged on.
Yep, catches the Dragon Tail right in the mouth under his own tower, but Pandego not on the same page. Wisely so, there was a lot of personnel there from EG, and March of the Machines now maxed out after the first 4 points went into laser and rockets. Tough to really want to try to engage anywhere static like that. Rioboros just going to bail out, go find some farm in top lane.
Yeah, eHug's going to start having a pretty hard time pushing these towers in, though, because March is absolutely devastating to really push into. And we see this AI actually go for maxing his Cold Feet, which I haven't really been seeing that often. And oh, he's getting ganked. There's the Bracing for a gank.
Yep, I'm a sheep. Burst it down, Arteezy takes the kill there. Taking a look at the kill score, we can see Visage, played by Zai, has actually notched 2 kills. Jigglebilly on the Mirana. Even though his farm is kind of atrocious, he is sitting at 2-0 for himself. Cakes with 1 kill under his belt, and that kill for Arteezy. Certainly a nice way for him to go. But I'm a little surprised that Universe hasn't been any more active than he has. Granted, still very early in, still sub 14 minutes. Does have his Blink Dagger up, is level 9, so we even have level 2 Lasso here before too terribly long. But yeah, PPD plus Universe should make a very, very powerful ganking tandem. Here's Arteezy coming in on top of Cakes, down at bottom. Zai's there with the Soul Assumption. Cogs are down. There's the March just to secure the kill. Tried to use the hook, but in the end, able to make it away. I'm a Sheep comes into a hot LZ, and that makes it a double kill now for Arteezy. And poor Pandego left out on a limb as well. That's a killing spree for Zai. That's a quick turnaround in EG, now doubling up eHug sub 14 minutes.
Yeah, and that was really odd. I mean, porting into March is not really the best thing you want to do, and not even just that. Those 2 heroes were the only ones there to kill that, but at the same time, PPD and Universe were on their way down there already. So eHug was in a very, very bad position there, no matter what they were going to do. And we see Jigglebilly actually pick up a Midas on the bottom to try to make up for his lack of CS.
Yep. Desperation Midas, I think. I mean, and you know, you look at his CS, it's not like it's down at 15 or something. I mean, he's found some form of farm. But again, it's just the way the hero tends to work. She just takes so long to get into heroes that now we're going to have a Lasso and I am a Sheep. TP's coming in. They're going to be able to clean him up before they land, though, and that's going to be, oh, that was Arteezy, never mind. So Arteezy coming in, not even needed as they secure another kill, and EG has officially hijacked this jungle away from eHug.
Yeah, and Arteezy picks up a blink right away, right afterwards. And during quiet old Fear, just sitting in his lane, getting a lot of farm.
Yep.
He's got his treads, he's got Midas, he's got Ring of Health, and a 1,400 gold under his belt. And they only have 1 tower down so far, so looking very good for EG right now. Yeah,
EG in a great position. In fact, taking a look at the goal graph, this is not where you want to be. You are basically, you've lost. Hang on, we might have some action as Fear spotted out Pandego. There's going to be a telekinesis. Rockets come in to do damage. They're going to try to turn it around, and a big kill onto Fear, as you mentioned, was in such great shape, giving up a death there due to a little bit of over-aggressiveness, and now that push from eHug might come into play as all 5 are right here in mid and ready to go to work. There's a nightmare onto Rioboros. The immediate blink as Arteezy lands to try and defend this. March so hard to push into. As you had mentioned, just look at the damage chew through not just the creeps, but the heroes as well. They're going to have a chance to deny this. Universe comes out, throws the flame break, and yeah, they're going to get the deny. So even though they managed to gain a little bit of map control, missing out on some of that infusion of gold they certainly would have loved.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we do see a couple Ancients coming out on the side of Dire stacked up. Zai, I think, was doing that before when he moved down to the bottom lane.
Yep.
And it's up.
Looks like both teams happy to just go ahead and break apart, at least for the moment. Arteezy joins Fear at top. And I would expect to see RTZ get more and more active. He's already got up his Soul Ring boots and that Blink Dagger, 800 gold aside from that. What item choice do you think he's going to go with next? Is this a Rush of Sheep kind of a situation or maybe even something different?
I think he's just going to gauge it based on how it goes. He might even go for like a Rush Dagon or something like that potentially, but I think it just depends on what the scenario of the game goes. If they start snowballing a little bit harder, then yeah. And we see Zai positioning his birds right near these Radiant Ancients. He was checking if they were stacked and maybe having RTZ come and snatch him, but that's not the case. And they're going to start pushing this top tower right now. Clockwork's setting up.
Yep. Universe managing to find Cakes. Looped around through the Dire Side Secret Shop and able to execute the gank. There will be a nice Ice Blast that kind of catches a couple, but really no chance to follow this up. And yeah,
Radiant structures
EG
are
just
fortified.
continuing to keep the pressure up. Zai even now gaining some levels. He's found level 11 here in mid. Ancient Apparition is just level 6 right now. So when you're talking about how badly the levels are getting out of control, only one hero on all of EG is even in that range, and it's a level 7 Bane. Everyone else is 10 or higher.
Radiant's top tower is under
Zai
attack.
is just playing amazing right now. That was such a nice dive right there by them. And he's actually going to... He might get
Radiant's top
Ryoboros here.
tower has
Yep.
fallen.
Ryoboros, not saved. They do end up trading 1-for-1 as Pandago was there and managed to survive as well. Arteezy out of mana and unable to contribute that last laser blast, but still.
That's a huge
Radiant's
kill. That's
middle tower
a
is
support
under
Visage
attack.
getting their mid solo, and he actually finished off the AA before that. So this Visage is level 12. He's got Treads, Point Booster, Medallion, and another 1,000 gold. So he's going to be popping out his eggs pretty early in this game.
Absolutely. And we could see, obviously, the tower dropped as well. And the gold lead really beginning to have that insurmountable kind of a feel. I mean, they did stop the bleeding temporarily, but at 7,500 gold down with this lineup, they're going to struggle so much to play from behind. Now, let's put you in the captain's chair here, Fog. If you were the captain on eHug, what are your goals? We're coming up on 20 minutes, say between now and 25 minutes into the game. What are your most immediate goals to get this game under control?
I think they need to just really get their map control down. I mean, I think even purchasing like a gem or something would be beneficial because they can just take out all these wards and then just secure their farm and just try to catch up back with that. Because right now, it's going to be really hard for them to do too much. And actually, it looks like Arteezy is going to be going for that sheep stick, by the way, because he picked up a Void Stone with it.
Yeah.
But eHug, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them because also, as well as these supports on EG just being ludicrously farmed, particularly Zai being one of the highest levels in the game, these birds actually are critical versus eHug's team. It blocks Hook, blocks Arrow, and that's pretty massive. And yeah, we see them sneaking a Roche.
Yeah, I wouldn't say them. Zai basically soloing Roche for the last, I don't know, 60 seconds or so. Finally, the rest, after clearing the map and making sure this was going to go off without a hitch, do go to work on it, and this is beginning to look a little scary for eHug. They're looking to put some pressure on the Tier 1 in the meantime. They may even suspect this is going on, but opting not to try to challenge it, right decision, wrong decision?
I think that's the right decision. Them fighting there, they're 2 under farm and 2 over level. They're going to get pretty demolished by this team fight. I mean, fighting around Roche Pit when there's marches falling down as well, with birds and soul assumptions flying, with Batrider flying around, they can just grab someone right away and just kill them. And then you're fighting a 4v5 fight, basically.
They actually backed out of the pit, a little bit fearful that something might be coming they weren't expecting, but now moving back in, and they will be securing this. Most likely going to be Old Man Fear, picking up that Aegis. Now let's see what they want to do with it. In the meantime, the rest of EG did smoke through the Dire Side jungle. Most of eHug, however,
Dire's
up in top
tower
lane, ready to
is
push
under
this
attack.
Tier 1. And it looks like, yeah, they may just go ahead and take a
structures
Tier
are
1 of their own.
fortified.
And I think that's a fair trade if you're EG.
Yeah, it's not the best trade, but you know what? Best out of a worse scenario.
Yep.
You got to make something happen.
And EG continuing to try to maintain
Dire's
control.
top
Only one
tower
hero
has
in
fallen.
the vicinity, and that's I'm a Sheep. Up at top, we can see Arteezy's doing a great job of just stunting this push,
Radiant's
using
middle tower
nothing
is under
but
attack.
marching the machines from outside of the woods. EG, in the meantime, pressuring the mid-tier 1. And Arteezy ready to join the fight as well. Here we go. Marana ulti pops. Zai caught with the Dragon Tail. Zai so tanky, though. Very little damage done. There's going to be the AA ultimate connects on Zai, and he's blown up following the Breathe Fire. Fear also caught out, has the Aegis popped immediately, but now Universe able to lasso Jigglebilly. PPD is there. Still has Fiend's Grip if he wants to use it. Might have to. Nope, he's going to hang on to it and take it to the grave. Jigglebilly, in the meantime, going toe-to-toe with Universe, and Universe cleaned up as well. So this fight going totally in favor of eHug, at least for the moment. Here comes Cakes. He'll be cleaned up by Arteezy, though, as Arteezy on the Tinker, notching a triple kill and what might end up being an ultra kill by the time all's said and done. Fear right there with him. And there he goes. It's actually Visage with the birds that manages to secure the last death there. So 14-8. eHug looked good, but that's just the power of the Aegis. Fear, once he popped back up, everything swung against him. Yeah.
I mean, that was still a great fight, great initiation and everything the way they had it. PPD actually kind of got like no spells off. He nightmared his teammate, but then the Clockwork just sat on him with Battery Assault and playing a Bane versus a Clockwork is never very fun if he goes on you. But yeah, Arteezy getting all those kills right there is actually pretty devastating, though, because now he's getting very, very close to his Sheepstick, which is quite a strong item on Tinker, of course.
Yeah. Speaking of items getting very, very close to, Zai's about 4/5 of the way done with a Scepter already. Arteezy, in the meantime, like you said, Sheepstick very much on the way. The item development on EG is just so far ahead of eHug right now. They've got a 4-staff on the way. There is the Dragon, or the Shadow Blade pickup on the Dragon Knight, something I feel like they really need. I mean, if they were in a better position, maybe a BKB, would have been the better choice, but they're just lacking in damage. We saw that. I mean, they were able to burst down. They were able to burst down Fear. They simply couldn't burst down the Visage because Zai is just so far ahead.
Yeah.
But once he blew through his whole combination, there really just was no good spread, and Jigglebilly, again, just unable to contribute anywhere near as much as he would like. In fact, you know, his inventory looks a bit like a yard sale, just a little bit of everything. Has the Ogre Club up, though.
Yeah, and the net worth right now, you see this Tinker just pulling way ahead. He's at 12K net worth. He has Blink and a Sheepstick already on him, so he's very, very farmed.
Yep. And yeah, and it's not just him either. I mean, as far ahead as he is, like you said, Fear on Weaver, just calmly and quietly. Midas, Treads, Lincoln's Fear done. He's going to be spotted, or spot out Pandago. They do drop the Sentry, but it's a little bit too late. PPD was there to help if they wanted to. In the meantime, at bottom, we're going to see Rioboros engaged upon. Sheepstick showed off, and Lasso spent just to guarantee the kill. Here comes the Ice Blast. Arteezy will eat it, but not going to worry about it. Oh, beautiful hook! Cakes coming from just about max range as Arteezy was trying to teleport out and getting a very, very high value kill just in the shadow of where the tier 1 used to be in bottom.
Yeah, and Cakes is doing great for himself. He's got his 4-step up. I'm assuming he's either going to go for the Ags or a Blade Mail next, just to, you know, take out Arteezy a little bit, just screw with him. If he marches, just run through and just deal a lot of devastating damage to him. And Jigglebilly's being a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
jumping into the Ancients.
That's what he does.
Regeneration.
Why play Mirana if you're not going to jump a lot, right?
Yep.
We see the arrow shot. PPD's up on the high ground, at least for the moment. Big creep wave pushing down top, and we might even see Arteezy jump up there and try to just split push the lanes. And that's really where the problem they're going to begin to run into now is Arteezy. Obviously, the mobility of Tinker to begin with is absolutely through the roof. But now that Fear is getting through his item progression, he's going to start building for damage now that the Lincoln's is done. They're going to be able to split push 2 lanes, especially if a Desolator comes out on that Weaver. It's going to be impossible for eHug to try to hold this map together.
Yeah, and it's really scary looking at this. When you look at the net worth chart and you see the support on EG almost being ahead of everybody on eHug,
Yep.
it's not something you want to happen. He has his Ags, and he's got 3 birds up right now.
Yep. And really, I mean, like you said, Cakes has played fairly well. I feel like Rioboros had a good start. They didn't get a whole lot out of Jigglebilly. And granted, he's got 2,000 gold now, but this is kind of the problem with Mirana. She needs so much to play in that damaging role. Pandago going to be scythed out and blown up with pure burst as EG is storming down this lane. Another good hook from Cakes. Arteezy caught and brought down. That's going to be a trade they're fine with making, though. But they're not done. Zai right there with Fear trying to clean up on Rioboros and unable to get him. And no, finally they do. Behind that, though, I'm a Sheep now in some trouble. Jigglebilly not doing anywhere near enough damage. Fear going to chase him down, however, Moonlight Shadow enough to secure his retreat. So even though eHug, again, another good hook coming from Cakes, they get 2 very high-value kills in bringing down the Tinker and the Visage, the two of the most high-value heroes in terms of net worth, as you had mentioned. But they give up a lot for it. It feels a lot like 1 step forward, 2 steps back for eHug right now.
Yeah, and that was a 5v3 engagement. Well, not entirely, because Rubik got kind of blown up, so it's kind of like a 4v3 engagement. But EG, Fear actually did something really interesting. He put the Lincolns on the Visage there.
Yep.
So he didn't get stunned by the Dragon Knight, or the Cold Feet was blocked. I think it was the Cold Feet that actually got blocked there. But great, just great mind from Fear right there.
Radiant's
great play.
top tower is
Taking a
under
look at our
attack.
gold graph, we can see not very encouraging. If you happen to be an eHug fan, down near about 14,000 in favor of Evil Geniuses right now, and coming up on 20,000 experience. And you know, this is just 25 minutes in. It's been a very active game. 30 kills in 25 minutes, quite active across the board. But I mean, what do you do? I mean, I asked the captain share question before. This is a little bit beyond that, though. I mean, what is the path back to having to relevancy, really? What's the path back to being relevant and trying to control this game a little bit?
It's really difficult, honestly, because if they show on the map anywhere, they can basically get killed just single-handedly by Arteezy at this point. He's got his Blink, he's got a Hex, and yeah, Jigglebilly's getting gone on right now, and he's going to get chain hexed. And the Bat Rider's there just to boot, just in case.
Yep. Jigglebilly cleaned up in bottom lane, Arteezy and Universe, and they're learning. A couple of times they've gotten kills and an Ice Blast has caught them. immediately after. So as soon as they get these kills, they just move elsewhere to make
Radiant's
sure
top
that when it
tower
hits,
is under
they're nowhere to
attack.
be found. But yeah, I mean, at 26 minutes, Jigglebilly again, it's not even, you don't blame him. It's just they did such a good job on the side of Evil Geniuses of keeping him under control and not letting him ever really feel relevant. And again, it comes back to what we talked about during the draft. The one position Mirana just needs so much. She needs survivability. She needs magic immunity. She needs damage. She needs so many things to make her relevant in that role that if she gets behind, you just often don't see her ever catch up.
Yeah, and also, like, I don't think we even see a Fiend Groups 1 this game, and top Ribor is getting gone on.
Yep, there's Cakes there trying to follow it up with a hook. In the meantime, Pandago trying to chase him out. There's a telekinesis, and Arteezy might have overstepped himself a little bit here. Cakes going to get right in front of him, and another good kill going the way of eHug. Might be a little too late, but they're fighting it out as hard as they can, and no better way to fight than to jab him right in the nose like that.
Yep, exactly. And Fear picked up his Desolator there. I don't know. I haven't really been seeing much action coming out of PPD. He's not really having the best game, but they're playing spectacular. Their draft overall is very strong.
Yep.
The other players are making up for everything. And now we see Pot multi.
And Arrow actually caught on the Visage Familiars. In the meantime, we're going to hear behind that a lasso grabbing Jigglebilly. He will be able to pull them out, and it's going to be stolen by Rubik. They'll use it on Zai, but I'm a Sheep burning to death in the Firefly damage. Soul Assumption catches him out. Cakes now trying to get on Zai. Look at the damage output coming from those birds, and Universe unable to catch up with Jigglebilly as he leaps up to the ridgeline and retreats away. So Arteezy again, the death they managed to pull off, but giving up 3 there in mid. And this is just, I mean, it's not even that they're engaging poorly. Like, that wasn't terrible from them, and it was a decent play from the Rubik to try and turn that around. All of EG is just so far ahead. It's so damn tanky. I mean, when you look at net worth, 4 of the top 5, all EG.
Yeah, and this Visage he's a carry, single-handedly now.
Yeah.
Once you get level
Radiant's
16,
middle
especially if
tower
you have an
is
Axe, those birds hit so powerful. Look at this tower just go down. The Desolator effect plus the birds and everything is just getting melted. And I won't be surprised if this is a Rax going down, and potentially even an early GG.
Zai is almost at 2,000 HP as a support Visage. Just insane. Fear, they will bring down
Radiant's
the
middle
ranged
barracks
Rax, and
has
yeah, I don't
fallen.
think there's any reason for them to back off here. Cakes is going to be back up in a minute. Here we go. They're going to BKB and leap in with Jigglebilly, trying to make something happen. However, Fiend's Grip, PPD immaculately positioned, brings him down, and that's going to be a loss of a Rax, if not more, as Rubik died amidst that. And Cakes now caught with a scythe device. Going to be bursted down. Beautiful chain on the stun from the Visage Familiars, and that might just about be that. They've lost too much. Buyback from Cakes will make this a last-ditch stand. But, yeah, EG in a position now. They have to worry about the Tier 2s that are still standing in top and bottom lane. But really, they could just about look for Tier 4. Hang on, Cakes hooks in. Zai could be in trouble. The damage is just so high coming out of that medallion plus the birds.
He didn't even use the medallion.
Yeah, he actually did, and you're right. That's just pure out-and-out damage. PPD right there with Ouroboros. And GG gonna be called. So our first game here at the Monster Energy Invitational goes the way of Evil Geniuses. And eHug, the upstarts and the underdogs, now finds themselves 1 loss away from dropping to the lower bracket.
Yeah, great performance out of EG, though. I mean, eHug, they did get the first blood. They did have the great idea of going this offensive tri-lane, but it just didn't really work out for them. They just really underperformed, I think, in that tri-lane. They could have really gotten a lot more out of it. And just, I mean, great rotations afterwards. They broke the tri-lane. Rubik went bottom. He got a kill, but just really wasn't enough overall. DK did a good job mid, too. He got his Lothars up, but just not timely. He wasn't able to find any picks with it. And yeah, the snowball just was out of control. Arteezy got his blink. He got his bots very early, and they were just doing these ganking things with Visage. And Zai played, I think Zai was the MVP in that game. He played absolutely spectacular.
No, I very much agree with you. I mean, when you look at the way it came out in terms of the box score, I mean, what more can you say? 11-4 and 11 out of Zai. He was a part of 22 of the 29 kills that EG notched across that entire match. And, you know, Fear did his job. You know, so often in games like this that are really dominant performances, you don't even see the carry players with these big blow-up box scores because they don't need them. You know, their team made so much space, they got so far ahead. And by the end, 640 GPM, 781 XP per minute for Fear. Cakes, even though he finished up 4 and 7, was one of the few things that was really going right for EG. His play was quite good, but unfortunately just not enough to get them over the hump. So looking ahead to Game 2 here, Fog, what do you think is going to be essential for eHug? Any tweaks, any changes, or you just come in, try to do the same thing, but try to execute it a little more tightly?
I feel like they weren't really used to playing with this AA. I don't know if it was really their style. I don't know how much they've really gotten a chance to play with it and everything, but I don't really see them go this offensive tri-lane that often. I usually tend to see them do this like passive farming, trying to get really farmed up on Jigglebilly and then do really well. So
We'll find out. Game number 2 coming up next. Once again, thanks so much for tuning in to the Monster Energy Invitational presented by Logitech. We're live here on the floor of South by Southwest Interactive in beautiful Austin, Texas. If you happen to be watching at home and in the area, don't forget it's free. Just come on down, get a wristband, and you can walk in and join us live. Thanks to everyone, of course, in Dota TV and on stream as well. Game 2 of our leadoff best of 3 EG taking on eHug coming up next. Stick with us. We'll be right back.